Help me reach 7,000 subscribers. Please like the video and share your thoughts in the comments. Your feedback helps make the content better. Don't touch me today, please. She said it flat, eyes on the sink, hands in cold water, like I was a fly landing on her shoulder. I'd just come in from the driveway, arms open, the automatic end-of-day hug we'd done for years. I stopped mid-step, like someone cut the power. Okay, I told her. I set my keys in the bowl and stood there with the quiet humming of the fridge between us. If I'd known where that one line would take us, I'd have cleaned out the guest room that night. We ate in 2 different silences. I rinsed my plate, wiped the counter, checked my email at the island. She scrolled on her phone. I gave her an hour, then tried something normal. You good? I asked. I'm tired, she said. Don't start. Not starting anything. Just checking in. She turned off the light over the sink and walked out. No good night, no touch, nothing. That's how the week began. By Thursday, the pattern had a rhythm. She'd wake early, leave before I did, come home late, talk less, smile almost never. She'd answer questions like they were invoices, short, paid, stamped. Friday night, I tried a little humor to break the ice. So, who stole my wife and replaced her with this podcast host who narrates weather? It got a half smile. You're dramatic, she said, grabbing her bag. Where you headed? Yoga. At 9. They added a later class. All right. I'll probably be late coming back. Don't wait up. That part was new. I nodded and moved my plans too. I had a long Saturday at the shop and a deck repair on Sunday for a neighbor. Things I'd normally reschedule if she wanted time. She didn't, so I didn't. Saturday morning I brewed coffee for 2 anyway, out of habit. Hers sat cold when I left. I wrote a note. I'll be at the shop until 2. Text if you want lunch. She didn't. Sunday, after church and the deck, I came home and tried the old hug again. That's when she blocked my chest with an open palm. Seriously, don't. Copy. I stepped back. We good? Can you not make this a thing? What is this? I asked. She rolled her eyes. Mark, I'm asking for space. Ask with words, not with a hand to my chest. You see control where there isn't any. I let that sit. All right. You want space. You've got it. She blinked, like she'd expected a speech or pleading. I put my ring on the counter with a click, not dramatic, just clear. What are you doing? She asked. Stopping rituals that mean nothing right now. You want distance? I'll match it like an adult. I didn't say anything about your ring. Right? I'm saying something about it. I lifted my keys. I'll be home after 8 this week. Don't wait up. That was the first rule change. No fight. No scene. A new schedule. Monday I shifted workouts to evenings, added late shifts at the shop, cut errands that were ours, and made them hers if they mattered to her. I canceled the Wednesday couples trivia, we always lost anyway. I set a weekly check-in on Sunday evenings, sent her a calendar invite, no commentary. If she wanted to talk, she'd accept. She declined. Tuesday at lunch, Nate from my crew leaned on the hood of my truck. You look like a man who slept on a sofa, he said. Guest room, I told him. Better mattress. You want me to drag you out for wings, or you got a plan? I've got a plan. He squinted. That's your dangerous voice. I smiled a little. I'm just matching behavior. Meaning? Boundaries, I said. She wants space, she's getting it. He tapped the hood twice. I've seen your house. It's pretty big. Don't turn it into a museum. It won't be, I told him. It'll be a map. How so? You'll see. That week, Lisa started coming home later. I didn't interrogate. I didn't ask where, who, why. I noted the data. She slowed intimacy to 0. I didn't push. I stopped the small stuff. The shoulder touch when I passed her, the how was your day at the doorway, the check-ins. Sunday came. She declined the chat again. She barely looked at me. Another rule change. I split the budget. Our joint account became bills only with fixed auto transfers. Her variable spending stayed on her card, mine on mine. I texted her the new setup. She wrote back, "Since when do you make money decisions without talking to me?" I replied, "Since you asked me to stop making things a thing. This reduces friction. Bills are covered. The rest is yours/mine. If you want adjustments, we can discuss at Sunday check-in." She didn't answer. Wednesday was our neighbor's barbecue. Different environment, new eyes. Social context forces honesty, or at least theater. I figured we'd see which one she picked. We showed up in separate cars. That earned me a curious look from our neighbor, Mrs. Patel. and a raised eyebrow from Nate, who was there with his fiancée. We circulated. Lisa poured lemonade, laughed with the wives, avoided me by instinct. When people asked how we'd been, she said, busy, like a script. At the food table, she did a small thing that read big. Harriet from the next block asked if we'd gone to the lake last weekend like we planned. Lisa spoke first. We didn't. He had work, she said, with that performative sigh people do when they're the reasonable one. The implication hung there. I set my plate down. We didn't go, I told Harriet, because we canceled together. We're changing the schedule right now. I looked at Lisa. If you want me to take the fall for something, ask me privately. I'll do it gladly. Don't audition it. The group went quiet. Lisa's eyebrows shot up. Are you seriously doing this here? She asked. Doing what? I replied. I'm stating a boundary. In public, we present facts or we present nothing. We don't present each other. Harriet cleared her throat and floated away. Nate stepped in like a referee. How about the burgers? He said to no one in particular. Lisa forced a smile. You're overreacting, she told me under her breath. I'm reacting, I said. You can adjust to it or not. We did small talk with other people. Later, she brushed my arm near the dessert table. Not affection, just a test. I didn't move. On the drive home, separate cars, she called. You humiliated me, she said before hello. That's an interesting read, I answered. I protected both of us from a story you tried to tell at my expense. You're controlling, she said. I can't breathe around you. You asked for space. I gave it. You asked for me to stop making things a thing. I stopped. Now you want to narrate me at parties. I'm not a prop. I'm tired of defending myself to you. You haven't defended anything. You've avoided. That's a choice. I'm making choices too. Silence. Then she softened, a tone she used when she wanted to reset the chessboard. Can we not do this? She asked, lighter now. I'm sorry about the barbecue. I was off. Can we have dinner Thursday? I'll make that roasted chicken you like. There it was, the first soft turn. I let myself want it for 2 seconds. Then I tested for substance. Sure, I said. Thursday dinner. I'll be there at 7. If you need to cancel, text by 4. I won't cancel, she said quickly. She canceled at 3:50 with a breezy, girls wanted to grab drinks, rain check? No apology. No reschedule. Just a pivot. I didn't answer. I ate a burger at the diner near the shop, read the sports page, and moved another rule. Our Thursday nights were no longer tentative us time. They were mine until proven otherwise. I put it on my calendar. Thursdays, personal. By the next week, we were roommates who passed in the hall. She was cheerful when she needed something, mute when she didn't. We spoke mostly about bills and schedules. If she needed money for something joint, fine. Personal stuff, she used her card. She didn't ask for permission. I didn't grant any. One night she came in late and found me organizing a toolbox in the garage. She stood in the doorway, watching. Do you even care? She asked. I care about respect, I answered, turning a wrench back into its slot. You're freezing me out. I matched your request. You said space. I gave it oxygen. I'm in emotional space. Words matter, I told her, clicking the box shut. It's like you're punishing me. I'm not punitive. I'm precise. I wipe my hands. You say what you want. I make it measurable. That's how adults do it. She scoffed. We're not at work, Mark. I noticed, I said. She shook her head and left. When the door closed, I leaned on the bench and admitted something to myself. Whatever this was, it wasn't a phase. It had a structure. Distance. Then deflection. Then public framing. Then a soft pull when I didn't chase. Then more distance. The sequence repeated. I made one more change, one I hoped I wouldn't need. I reached out to a private investigator I'd used once for a small business issue. Lost inventory, an employee with side deals. His name was Ray Jensen. Firm handshake, steady eyes, no drama, no embellishment. We met at a coffee shop near the courthouse. I told him what I had, schedules, shifts, late arrivals, a sudden allergy to physical closeness, selective transparency, and the social framing. I told him my goal, peace of mind. Find nothing, and I'll sleep. Find something, and I'll act once. No second acts. Ray nodded. You want confirmation, not a show. I want the truth, I said. Quietly. He asked for 2 weeks. I asked him to start the next day. I hoped he'd find nothing but late-night pedicures and long talks with friends about how I snored. I wanted to be wrong. 2 days later, I got a text from Lisa at noon while I was in the lumber aisle. Going out of town with the girls, she wrote. For days. Don't call. Signal's bad where we're going. I'll text when I land. I stared at the phone and felt something in me settle, not break. A move that bold at a moment this fragile? She either believed I was asleep or wanted me to look stupid for asking questions. Either way, it was a line. I put the phone back in my pocket and kept moving. I finished my order, closed up the shop, and went home. At 6 that evening, Ray texted. Need to send you something secure. You free? I called him from my office. His voice didn't dance. You sure you want it tonight? He asked. I want it now. He sent a link. Then he talked while I clicked. She's been meeting a man at a coffee place downtown, he said. Multiple times over the last 2 weeks. Same guy. They left in the same car twice. Today she went to the airport. Not with girls. With him. The photos loaded, grainy, surveillance normal, unromantic. Lisa and a man I didn't know at a small table by the window. Lisa and him at the curb, hands touching, the casual familiarity of people who don't have to ask permission anymore. Lisa at the airport check-in with him, their bags tagged to the same destination. Then the kicker, 2 boarding passes in her hand. The destination was Paris. Ray included a bank screenshot he'd pulled from activity I could see on our joint account earlier that week. A chunk of money moved out in cash a month ago, right after I split the budget. Enough for international tickets, and then some. She withdrew cash from the joint a while back, Ray said, like he was reading my head. I'm guessing that's what paid for this. I stared at the phone and the photos together, then put them down and folded my hands on the desk like I was taking minutes. You okay? Ray asked. I'm fine, I said. This changes the plan. How do you want to proceed? I'm going to send her one message, I answered. Then I'll handle the rest here. Email me the full report. I'll wire your fee tonight. Copy, he said. I'll have the full packet in your inbox in an hour. When we hung up, I picked one of the photos, Lisa and the man at the gate, her hand on his shoulder as they moved forward. I attached it to a text. Enjoy the trip, I wrote. Divorce will be waiting when you get back. I hit send. I turned my phone face down and made a new list. The next 3 hours were logistics. I called the bank and closed her access to my personal accounts. I changed direct deposit destinations so paychecks landed where they should. I canceled the credit card I paid for that she used for non-essentials. The bills were already covered by auto pay on the joint, and that stayed. I called the storage unit and reserved a small locker. I put together 2 boxes with her essentials from the house. Not out of cruelty, but clarity. I booked a pickup with a delivery service to take those boxes to her parents' place the next day with a simple note. Lisa's belongings. We'll explain later. I sent the photos and Ray's summary to my parents, her parents, our siblings, 2 close friends, and Mrs. Patel because she'd seen us at our worst on the sidewalk and deserved the context. The subject line was neutral, family update. The body, here are the facts. I'll be filing for divorce tomorrow morning. Please direct any questions to me, not to Lisa. We'll handle the rest privately. My phone exploded. Lisa called 4 times in a row, declined. She texted 20 messages in 10 minutes. What is wrong with you? Are you tracking me? This is sick. You're making up stories. How dare you send that? I responded once. I sent facts. We can discuss logistics by email. My attorney will contact you when you return. She called again. I let it ring. She left a voicemail that swung from outrage to soft pleading in under a minute. Mark, please, don't do this. You're blowing up my life. We can talk about anything. I swear, just don't make it public. That was the second soft turn. Too late and too transparent. I forwarded the voicemail to an archive folder and poured myself water. My hands were steady. The house was quiet in a way that felt clean. The next morning, I filed. Then I went to work. At lunch, Nate walked into my office without knocking, a plastic bag from the deli in one hand. You good? He asked. I'm done, I told him. He set down a sandwich. I saw your email. You and everybody else. Saturday you nuked the bridge. The bridge wasn't there, I said. I stopped pretending. He nodded. You need a couch? I'm sleeping fine at home, I answered. I changed the locks on my office and my tool cage. How stays as is. She can pick up the rest of her things from her parents' place. He whistled softly. You're a cold man, sometimes. No, I said. I'm a warm man who finally closed the window. That week, Lisa blew up my phone whenever she found Wi-Fi. The messages were a carousel, accusations of surveillance, blaming me for controlling narratives, pivoting to "you push me away," circling back to "we can fix this if you stop this nonsense." She never once explained the plane, the man, the cash. Not to me, not to anyone. Meanwhile, the calls from family started. Her mother first, anxious and trying to soften it. "Mark, sweetheart," she began. "There must be a misunderstanding." "I wish there were," I told her. "There's evidence. I won't drag you through it. It's in your inbox if you want to see. Can't we all just sit down?" "We're past sitting. I'll handle the paperwork. Lisa can stay with you for a bit." I sent some of her things. More can follow if she needs them. Her father's call was shorter, gruff with embarrassment. "I'm sorry, son," he said. "I didn't raise her to." "You raised a smart woman," I replied. "She made choices. I'm making mine." My sister called with fire in her tone. "You okay?" "I'm good. You want me to go over there and—" "No," I said. "No scenes. The facts are enough." By the end of the week, one parent from each side had apologized for things they didn't do. Two siblings had tried to broker a conversation, and Mrs. Patel had left a container of stew on my porch with a note that read, "Eat. You look thin." No advice, no commentary. That's community. Sunday evening would have been our check-in. Instead, I checked in with my own plan. I cleaned the garage, cleared half the closet, bagged up old shirts for donation. I put her photo from the mantle into a drawer. Not a ceremony. A restack. A week later, she came through the door like thunder. She dropped a bag on the floor and walked into the living room. Jaw tight, eyes bright with fury. It had the feel of a performance for an audience we didn't have. "How dare you?" she said, low and sharp. "How dare you send that to my family? That nasty lie." "Lie?" I asked, calm. Bold word. "That your strategy now, denial?" "You're sick," she snapped. "You hired someone to stalk me. Do you know how insane that is? You want to control me so bad you're inventing stories." "There's nothing invented," I told her. "There are timestamps and departure gates. But hey, I'm not here to litigate. You can say whatever you want in your world. In mine, this is simple." She laughed, ugly. "You can't stand that I have a life outside your rules." "You didn't want rules," I said. "You wanted a safety net while you played on a different field. You wanted my name when it paid a bill and my face when it served a story." "Oh, listen to you," she sneered. "Mr. Righteous. You're not hurt. You're offended someone didn't worship you." "I care less about worship than about truth," I answered. "And since you're not denying it anymore, we can skip to logistics." "Deny what?" She shot back loud now. "That I left because you're unbearable? That I needed a break from your checklist life? You turned our home into a timesheet." "This is all extra," I said, soft. "Save it. You can present your narrative to whoever will listen. I'm not your audience." She blinked at my tone, thrown off by the lack of a fight. "You filed?" she asked then, mid-storm, as if the fact just arrived in her head. "I filed the day after you left," I told her. You actually did?" She stared at me like I'd turned into a stranger. "You didn't even try?" "Try what?" I asked. "Beg? Bargain? Pretend I didn't see the gate photo? That's not me." "You're going to regret this," she said, voice dropping to a hiss. "Everyone will know what kind of man you are." "They already know," I said. "I sent them the truth. Don't worry. I didn't include the voicemail where you called me from a foreign hotel and asked me to keep it quiet." She flinched. Silence. I picked up an envelope from the coffee table and held it out. "What's this?" she asked. "Keys to my truck and to the shop are on a separate ring now," I said. "Your copy to the house is deactivated. You can pick up the rest of your things from your parents. They know you're coming. They're waiting." "You threw me out of my home," she tried. "I moved your things to a safe place with people who care about you," I corrected. "The house is for people who respect each other." She stared a beat too long. Then she tilted her head and pulled the last familiar card, a smirk that used to pull me off course. "You think you win," she said. "You don't. You'll be alone in this museum, and I'll be fine." "Maybe," I said, "but I'll be clean." She went to the bedroom, yanked open drawers, looked around like she expected to find something damning. What she found was space where her stuff had been. She grabbed a sweater and a book off the chair, threw them into her tote, and marched to the door. "This is a mistake," she said, one hand on the knob. "You'll miss me." "I'll miss who I thought you were," I told her. "Not this." She opened the door and looked back for the last word. "You'll be sorry." Probably not, I answered. Drive safe. The door closed on the echo of her prediction. The house reset to quiet. The next 8 weeks were boring in the way sanity is boring. Paperwork, signatures, notarized facts. There weren't hearings or public scenes. There were emails. Our joint life became numbers and items and dates. The photos Ray had sent were more persuasive than any speech. She had no counter, or if she did, it melted under the timestamps. The settlement was straightforward. She left with personal items and her car. The rest stayed. I didn't parade my new schedule, but I lived it. I went to the shop early and left on time. I took my truck out to the state park on Saturdays, fished badly with Nate, grilled at my place with 2 couples who didn't need me to wear a mask. I slept like a person who finally locked the right door. I didn't scroll her social. I didn't check in with anyone who knew her day by day. The family rumors reached me anyway. She moved into a small apartment on the edge of town, took a cashier job at a supermarket, and the man from the airport evaporated the second the money did. I didn't celebrate that. I didn't mourn it. It was a line on a ledger I didn't share anymore. 2 months to the day after she stood in our living room and tried to shame me back into place, the last document hit my inbox. I signed. I got in my truck, drove to the ridge where I'd proposed to her years back, watched the sun slide behind the water tower, and said out loud, "That's done." On the way down the hill, my phone buzzed. It was a text from Anna, a teacher I'd met through Mrs. Patel at a neighborhood cleanup. We'd had coffee twice, nothing heavy, 2 honest talks that felt like air. "You free Friday?" The text read, "My brother's band is playing at the park." Low-key. I looked at it and smiled. Not the grin of a teenager. The small, steady one a man wears when a plan works the way plans should, quietly. "Sounds good," I wrote back. "Pick you up at 7. If you need to cancel, text by 4. She replied with a laughing emoji, and deal. I won't cancel. I held her to it. Not with suspicion, but with pattern. Friday came. She didn't cancel. We listened to bad covers and ate good tacos from a truck with no sign. On the way home, she said, "You look like somebody who finally put down a weight." I decided to stop carrying it, I told her. Must have been heavy. It was dense, I said. Not big, just dense. No rushing things, she said as we pulled up to her place. Slow's fine with me. Slow suits me, I replied. We didn't define anything that night. We didn't need to. You can tell the difference between drama and life by the sound it makes when you close the door behind it. Drama rattles. Life clicks. On Sunday, I mowed the lawn, changed the oil, fixed a loose cabinet hinge, and called my mother. She asked if I was okay. I told her the truth. I'm better than okay, I said. I'm honest. There's a woman I like. I'm not racing. I'm working. The house is quiet in the right ways. She exhaled like she'd been holding it for months. That's all I wanted to hear. I ended the call and stood in the kitchen where Lisa had once told me, "Don't touch me today." The line no longer rang. The space no longer echoed. The house wasn't a museum, and it wasn't a stage. It was a place I lived. People ask sometimes if I'd do anything different. I would have seen the pattern earlier. I would have set the boundary at the first public framing, not the second. But I don't chew on that. I did what a sane man does. I gave space, I waited, I tested, I changed the rules when respect dropped, and when the proof arrived, I made one decision and kept walking. A few weeks later, I saw Lisa across a parking lot. She didn't see me. She had a paper sack, a name tag on her chest, and the look of a person who sleeps in a room that isn't hers. I felt nothing sharp, just a clean line between two lives. Nate texted that night. How's the museum? Not a museum, I wrote back. A map. Fewer rooms. Better routes. He sent a thumbs up and a picture of his dog stealing a burger. I poured water, set it beside the bed, and checked my calendar. Thursday was mine. Friday was the park with Anna. Sunday had a check-in, but this one was with myself. I'd kept the habit. It wasn't a ritual anymore. It was a tool. If I'd known where that first "don't touch me" would carry us, I would have stopped trying to hug a ghost and started counting facts sooner. But I learned. When someone rewrites the rules mid-game and smiles like you won't notice, you either learn the new rules or you leave the table. I left the table. I paid my bill. I tipped the truth. Then I walked out and found a better place to eat. Enjoy the trip, I told her. Divorce will be waiting.